then we're back to the real thing. First and foremost, I would like to thank everybody, but most of all to our hosts. I've been in Dubai for 15 years, and I have not seen something like this. And when you think you've seen it all, and this is really, really over the top. So thank you so much. I think this is a wonderful event. So let me tell you about a synthetic equity, and I'll try to keep this very, very sharp and short because I'm pretty sure nobody is very interested at this point to listen about discounted cash and corporate valuations. But essentially what we do is we help organizations build the model for incentivizing breakthrough performance and innovation. So how does this work? In today's world, as you can see, most of the value is built into the organization from the intangible assets. So it's people, culture, doing the right things, performance. And how do you get that performance over the top? Essentially, the traditional rewards do not work. Why? We've been all, around for a while. We've seen what's the issue. So short-term incentives, bonuses, salaries, there are so many shortcomings. So what really needs to happen, we need to figure out how to turn things around and how to bring the tried and tested methodologies with the cutting edge technologies. So for this project, we assembled a team of experts, starting with Chris Page, who's a seasoned executive. He was most recently a CEO of Aon Hewitt. Myself, Tesha, he is a media expert, podcaster with over 2 million followers, and Philip, he is the CTO and the full stack expert with the Web3 development expertise. So by putting our heads together, essentially what we have developed is a solution that is enabling automation when it comes to tokenization of the corporate assets. And why is this significant? Essentially, when the Mondays come in and we need to kind of go back to our work and we need to make some money, it really kicks in. And what's the key advantage that we are offering? You can put together a very equitable plan that is going to provide a sense of ownership to your employees. In other words, when you're not looking to share the ownership of the organization and you don't want to dilute your stock, you need to move with the synthetic stock. Long story short, what we do is we enable organizations to establish their true value, the fair market value of the organization, and then to break it down into the value of the individual token that's going to be distributed to employees. And one of the things that we do better than everybody else is we understand how to job size and how to make sure that we distribute tokens in a very, very equitable way. And what it does for you, it will ultimately offer engagement, retention, and most importantly, it will drive the innovation. If you really think how the innovation works, it's very tricky. Even some of the technology giants are struggling with that because when you come up with that breakthrough idea, what you end up with is a dozen of lawyers in a boardroom trying to corner you into surrendering that $1 million idea that you came up with. And why is this different? Because there is going to be a smart contract that's going to guarantee a reward that is due to you based on your innovation. So another significant element of this project is the fact that we're going to use interchangeable blockchain network. So in other words, we're not going to marry ourselves to any of the contemporary technologies. We want to make sure that the IP is residing at a web level, and the technology driven by the blockchain is going to be completely interchangeable. So where we stand right now is essentially we are in the midway in terms of our journey to the beta launch that's going to happen in exactly 45 days. And as you can see here, although this is supposedly our journey map, it looks like a subway map. We're going in two parallel tracks. What I would like to highlight is the upper track that is going to lead to a fairly interesting exercise, which is ultimately resulting in education in a format of the Web3 Academy. So in order for us to raise the awareness, we will make an investment. But at the same time, we're building a methodology, and in Q3 of this year, we're going to be publishing a book which has a fairly interesting article talking about why mafia doesn't need HR, the economics of the pirate ships. Essentially, we're talking about those breakthrough performance examples through the history and correlating them to today's day and age. And one thing that I would also like to highlight as part of this project, we're creating a Web3 dictionary, which is essentially going to be resting on this amazing piece of work developed by one of the foremost NFT creators, Fernanda Bocard. And ultimately, what is the exercise here? Each of the terms is going to be represented by one of the NFTs, and it's going to enable us to create a community that will ultimately take a full ownership of this glossary. So everybody that has NFT in their ownership will eventually become part of the DAO community and have the voting rights, deciding on the content of this glossary, but most importantly, becoming one of the contributors when it comes to the marketing opportunity that this will present. And ultimately, what puts us in advantageous position is the fact that this project is riding on the back of the management consultancy that already has a plethora of clients that are very likely to become buyers of this solution. I would just like to highlight an example of the World Food Program. What the synthetic equity can do in turn is enable food production in some of the bread baskets of the world, such as Africa or Asia, by enabling small farmers to come together as a part of the collective and ultimately become much more attractive for the foreign investments. So that's pretty much it in terms of staying in touch. Please feel free to connect via LinkedIn, and as I said, we'll keep it short, and we're 2 minutes early. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.